But so I'm just going to read something I wrote for my dad and include a song which I didn't get to finish composing, so I'm going to read it as a poem. But I wrote this after his passing in regards to what he's given me and you know, my view of our relationship and life together. And it's printed on the back of this picture I have. And it says, "Thank you for being a great dad. Your memories will always live in the way, in the very core of my heart." And it just has like a picture of me and him and some other stuff. It's kind of cool. So, like I said, my name is Michelle, and we're gathered here today to say goodbye to my father, Charles. I was the second born of 2 children, and being the only girl, had a unique relationship with my father, to which wasn't always the most pleasant, but due to all of our many battles we faced, is the one thing that made our bond especially strong and special. It is difficult at best to stand here before you and attempt to honor my father in words. It is never an easy task to capture someone in a speech, as words frequently fall short of capturing someone's true essence. In this instance, they fall so far below the mark that I feel it is almost futile to try. So instead of making an attempt right off the top, you know, I am going to ask each of us that are gathered here today to sit in silence for a moment and just remember something about this man who touched each of our lives in so many ways. So if we could just have a moment of silence briefly, I'd appreciate it. All right, thank you. So, just a little story, not too long, but when my father found out he had bone cancer, you know, that stemmed from his kidney cancer, and that it had become so severe throughout his body, he seemed to take it like so light to the situation, or so it had seemed. Being the strong person that he was, you know, he acted as if it was just another day, you know. Me, myself, obviously, having medical knowledge, you know, being certified medically and whatnot, I knew that at that moment we all were truly facing the amount we were facing, and it was just a huge moment of clarity for me. So the one thing that I shared most common with my father over the years was our love and bond for music and our keen sense of our idea of humor, which we so often referred to as a dry sense of humor. It was one of the things, you either got it or you didn't. I remember being young and silly and wanting to be a part of the in crowd, my love for people and curious to the different traditions in the world. I was definitely the opposite of my dad in being over-responsible. I remember I would try to make fibs fearful of his wrath, but he was no dummy. He always had a way about methodology and whatnot, so to speak. For example, you know, if I was to borrow the car and think that I could fib about where I went or how far I had gone on my travel, that was something that I came to find out really quick that wasn't possible. My dad was smarter than me, you know, a teeny bopper who thought she knew it all. Well, at an early adulthood, but my dad, without me knowing, in the type of person he would go to the car and he would write down the mileage before I left, in order to know how much I really did drive. One thing I overlooked, huh? Anyways, those small things, in the end, taught me so much more about life than the eye meets, you know? And the little things I once hated about my dad growing up are actually the true faucets used in my life today as an adult. Who would have thought? But I love you, Dad, and I wrote something special for you called My Strong. And it goes, My Strong, you are the reason I learned to be strong. Through any trial or any season, you have helped me to know my strong. So here I am now, I stand here, now you see my strong. Here I am now showing you my strong. I am so glad you came to me with months left to live and made your amends to me for all the times you felt you had been wrong. And because of that, I forgive you and I say thank you for helping me with my strong. So here I am now and I stand here. Now you see my strong, my strong. Here I am now showing you my strong. And now with our relationship finally becoming so strong, it's so bittersweet now, knowing it's only a matter of time together before you'll be gone. So I take the moment to say, please forgive me too, where I have may have been wrong. So here I am now, I stand here, and now you see my strong, my strong. Here I am now showing you my strong. So, with so much difference in my eyes and your mind, all the years we had to enjoy when we both spent too much time having to be mad. Me wishing for you to be anything other than my dad, and you telling me to go away and that's when you'll be glad. But so now with my strong, I hope it shows through now with you gone. And I have to stand here strong for you, Mom. No worries, Dad, now, 'cause your pain is gone. Thanks for allowing your strength through it all to be my strong, my strong. Although we both waited to the very end of your time with us now to understand one another, and what we allowed between us is so sad, so sad. But at least you can rest in the end and I can carry on, knowing it may have been short-lived with our bond. Well, why did we wait so long to think of each other? We were so wrong. I'm just glad now that it's over and we've become so strong. Thank you, Dad, for the time we did share, and you stayed strong. And so I thank you forever, because now you are my strong, my strong. I love you, Father, and I am thankful for all we have been through in this life. But in the end, you were my strong, and now I give you my strong. See you again, your only daughter. I really hope you like your song I call My Strong. I wrote that especially for my dad. It just was something that came to me one night, and I just felt the need to make that for him. So I hope you like that, Dad. So in the conclusion of this all, today I would like to leave with you all my personal understanding of life and death, and that is this, that one thing we all know 100% is we all will die. The one thing 100% we don't know is when. So with being said, grab a hold of this beautiful place and people in your life and appreciate the quality of the presence of them as a human and enjoy every moment we have, because as it's been said, we are not promised tomorrow. I appreciate you all coming out to remember my father, Charles William Lane Jr., aka Billy or Willie Stockwell, and giving me an opportunity to tell you a little bit more about him. I know he would have been honored to know how many people cared enough to attend. I think I had some more stuff written, but I've lost it in the shuffle. Anyhow, but other than what I wrote, I just, well, I think it's in here somewhere, actually. The last page was the most important. I think I rewrote it on my laptop, that's why. But in there, I had added, I overall want to thank everybody that's been part of my dad's life. Unfortunately for me, most of my life was spent hating my father and him hating me. But because of the Lord and the Lord alone, the last 6 months, last year solid of his life, I actually had a side of my father that I had dreamed of my whole life. And then nearing the very end of his life, the last probably 4 months of his life, he had come to me with a humble heart and an open mind, and he broke down and cried to me, and he laid it on the table, where he felt he had done wrong in my life, and where he would like to have forgiveness, and I was able to give him the same in return, and it was a moment for me that it meant so much to me, because it just immediately, it was like I was reborn again in Christ, but in human flesh. Like I was renewed instantaneously, that this man had come to his own understanding of what I had tried to make him understand through my understanding all of these years. And me and him had so much in common, unbeknownst to each other, that we consistently like argued and bumped heads. So, but the last, few months of his life, we really had special quality time, and it meant the world to me. And it was a moment that it renewed me. Yeah, it just renewed me, and I'm just thankful that my father, was humble enough to give me that, because I was already, in a place where I believed that I was okay with where our relationship had taken us, and he was drained, I was drained, but you know what, God had more for us, and it's unfortunate that it had to take his life for me and him both to get that and get what we should have meant to each other. But it's better than late than never, and I'm just thankful because I feel like a new person. I just have all this freedom spiritually because I just had that moment with my dad, like just where it was just about me, everything else closed off around him. And it just meant so much to me, and I just wanted to share that with you guys. But I don't know, how much you guys know about us, but I'm sure you've all heard about me some way or another. But anyhow, there's a couple people I do want to specifically thank, that I, from my heart, truly appreciate. I mean, everybody here is appreciated, but Randy Perrine, you are an amazing person. God be with you. My powers and blessings are always with you and your family and all your future endeavors. You are a solid rock for my father, especially towards the end. And I'm extremely grateful to you for acknowledging him and allowing yourself to be of service and a helping hand to him. So I commend you. Thank you so much. And also my brother, in his heroic efforts nearing the end of my father's life. Me personally, I always wanted the job to care for him, and me and my mom did throughout most of the 3-year stint or so. But the hardest part was at the end, when he came home. And it was so difficult for me because I had reached a place of understanding with him, and now he's dying. So it brought so many emotions that I wasn't able to face or deal with. And my brother and his girlfriend, Yenny, are both amazing people, and I just both want them to know as well how grateful I am to their service to my father as well. It'll never be forgotten. And thank you for stepping in and being my strong when I was weak. And I just want to thank all of you so much. And I hope that whatever my dad is giving you, that you can portray it in your life some way in the future. And just carry on who he was. At the end of the day, my dad was a good provider. Ultimately, that man never failed, never wavered. There was no quitting. Quitting was never an option. So it does take me back so much that he's not here with us now, because I really thought my dad would outlive us all, I still kind of don't believe he's gone. Like, thinking like, okay, where's he at? Who kidnapped him? And where's he at? Because I'm coming. But I know that he's not here. Well, but I'm just wanting to say thank you, Dad. Thank you for giving me every bit of you at the end of your life, and I hope that you stay with me in spirit and the rest of the people that are important to you. And there's a song, if you guys will look up later, that my dad, I dedicate to him. He played it a lot towards the last several weeks of his life. It's by a girl named Anna Kleding, or I don't know how to say it right, but it's called To My Parents. And that song, my dad really took dear to heart. So if you have the time to listen to it later, please do so. And it's just a beautiful song of her life and portraying her apologies to what she didn't make of her life. So thank you guys all. I can carry on. I'm a very long-winded person, so I will share the stage with my brother. If my brother would come up and speak.